Hi guys, this is ACGamer back with another video on Snowbreak. Now in today's video, what I wanted to do is show you guys the amount of gigacash we get in game. So I have gone ahead and calculated the amount we get, and for those of you guys who don't know what gigacash is, it is basically the premium currency we get, the resource we require to summon for premium characters and summon in the banners for weapons as well. So in today's video, this is going to be very important. The calculation is not going to be 100% accurate. I had to do a little bit of guessing as well, and I also might have forgotten some other ways to get some gigacash in game. But in this calculation, I will explain what my calculation was, and I actually think I discovered why a lot of people say the game does not give us enough gigacash. I figured out the issue, and this is something that the devs can go ahead and fix. Now this will fit into another part of this video where in the future I will make a video talking about one issue with this game, and it's definitely going to be linked to the gigacash. So for those of you guys who are watching this video, this is going to tie in perfectly with my next video. Now hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more content on Snowbreak, and now to ensure that you guys don't miss out on my next videos or videos coming out for Snowbreak, make sure you are subscribed and make sure that post notification is on, so click the bell icon. And if you guys enjoyed this video, because this is new information, I don't think anyone has gone ahead to calculate it, and I did take a lot of time to calculate the amount of gigacash we get, so go ahead and like the video for how useful this video is, and hopefully a lot of people can find this video so that they can see the main issue with the game. So the calculations I have done was obviously finding out where we get gigacash in this game. Now it is kind of easy to figure out. So main story gives us gigacash, as well as main story gives us gigacash. If you go over to operation, I've also calculated from the learning combat as well. I've also gone over to the dispatch, the underground, the abandoned area, the specific area. I have also included this in my calculation. And what else did I do? I don't think we get any from here, so I didn't include this. We don't get any from here. Actually we do. So I also calculated this as well. Now I had to do a little bit of guessing in here. Now as you can see, I have only unlocked phase 1, so I don't know how many phases are currently in here, and I don't know if the rewards are going to be the exact same. So I did a little bit of guessing. So there will be two calculation where I don't do any guessing and I only include phase 1 and I completely ignore the rest of the phases. And there's a calculation I also did for guessing the amount of trials or phases are available, and also guessing that the rewards we get are going to be the same. So like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of guessing. Like I said, my calculation isn't 100%. Only the devs can know how much the exact amount we get. And after that, I also calculated the amount of gems or gigacash, we get from compensation, and as well as codes as well as the pre-registration as well. I also included that. And so after doing my calculation, I would have not spreadsheet, but I have like a note where I included all my calculations. I should hopefully have a screenshot right now. So after doing calculation, I actually had to do a little bit of speculation as well. For, as you can see, I don't have chapter 8, 9 and 10 unlocked, so I just also guessed the amount of gigacash we get. But since I've noticed a trend, so from chapter 5, so after chapter 5, the amount of gigacash we get is the same. So 5, 6, 7 are the same, so I just basically assumed that 8, 9 and 10 will also be the same. So in total, the amount of gigacash you can get, this is from, oh my days, actually I realized I made a mistake. I also forgot to include the 30 we get in here. Let me just quickly add that into my calculation. Okay, so I've went ahead and updated my calculation. I've added 300 because you get 30 for each story, or each chapter. So there is 10 chapters, there is now 30 times 10 equals 300. Now from all the calculation I have done, I got about 7,530 gigacash. That is the amount you get for completing the entirety of the chapter, and that equals to basically 4.7 multis. So 4 multis plus 7 singles, and obviously the calculation is a lot, so the entire calculation is 4.70625. I just did 4.7 multis, so that's how much you get from the story chapter. Now for the combat, so the combat training, which is an operation, you get about 300. So each one you get 50, so 50 times 6 equals 300. I've included that in the calculation. Now for underground purge, which is this one, the abandoned area, you get about 130 per one. And now, assuming you are able to complete every single one, like I said, my calculation expects you to complete every single part. Obviously, you won't be able to do that right now in the game, especially when it gets harder and when you go all the way to like floor 14. Maybe it's way too hard to complete right now. But let's go ahead and assume you also complete everything. You will get about 130 for each floor, and there's 14 floors, so that equals 1820. So that is it. And then for tactical evaluation, wherever that is, there it is. Like I said, I did 2 calculations, so assuming I didn't calculate the other phases available. So for the tactical evaluation, you get about 20 for each floor or each chapter, and there's 10, so 20 times 10, you get about 200. And then you also get 60 for completion, so do the calculation, you get 260 per phase. Now for the guessing calculation, there's a second part of my calculation where I included the guessing part. That is going to be 4 floors. I guess there was going to be 4 phases, so this is phase 1, it'll be 2, 3 and 4. Assuming there is 4 phases, that will give you about 1040. But like I said, that is just me guessing, and it's not really, you know, I don't know if I'm right for that one. But anyways, excluding that one or moving on from that one, we now have the event mission. Now because I've completed it, you can't actually find it, but event mission basically gave you 1600 for completing, I believe, chapter 6 of the main story, so that is included in the calculation. Then I also included the main story task, which you go over to here, and you only get 100 per phases. So my calculation was 100 times 13, because there's 13 phases, you get 1300. And then I also included supernova, which is for here. There is about seven things you can complete, and each one you get, actually, so for each day you get about 7 missions, and each mission gives you 20, so 7 times 20 equals 140, and there is 7 days, so that is 140 times 7, which equals to 980. And if you were to include the pre-registration rewards, the compensation and codes, now this can vary for people depending on the codes you unlocked or which codes you didn't decide to input into your account. Let's say you forgot. I just did 1880. So that is for the pre-registration rewards, the compensation and the codes. I got for my other account 1880, but I do realize on this account I did recruit, so I did get more redemption codes, but yeah, so that calculation can be a little bit wrong, but not too major. So in total, let's go ahead and see what we get. So after the total calculations from the story, the combat training, the underground purge, the tactical evaluation, the event mission, the main story task, the supernova, as well as the pre-registration rewards, compensation and codes, I got about 15,370. Now this is assuming you complete every single one. Now this is without the guesses as well. So the one with the guesses, I got about 16,150. Now for total one without the guessing, I got about 9.6 multis, and for the total one with the guesses, I got about 10 multi. So the difference isn't really that much. Now I will admit that I actually forgot to calculate the base as well, so you actually do get some gigacash from base as well. So let me go ahead and show you, just in case you also want to include this in your calculation. I probably didn't, simply because it's a lot harder to get all of this gigacash, just because there is huge requirements. So from here you get about 50, and there's 16 of this, so 16 times 50, you get about 800 gigacash. But as you can see, the requirements are kind of a lot. After that, you can also, since we have different floors over here, and if you actually complete the entire rank for the character, you actually get some gigacash as well. So let me go ahead and show you how much you can get. So you find the character, oh there she is, go over to view story, you can actually get some gigacash. So you get about 5, and then each one has 50, so 5 times 50, you get about 250. Now because there is currently 4 floors, or 4 rooms available, and let's just assume you can also unlock the 4th one. We don't know what actually happens when you get to the 3rd floor. Is there going to be more rooms? I am not really too sure. That's why I didn't really want to include this in my calculation. but just assuming we have 4 rooms available, you get all the characters ranked to their max. You get about 4 times 250, which equals 1000. So if you wanted to include that in your calculation, you should go ahead, but I just feel like it's a lot harder to get those stuff. So the conclusion is, after doing a lot of resources grinding, a lot of completion, getting everything to max, you actually only get about 10 multis. Just assume 10 multis in general out of the gigacash. Now, I don't have to be smart to tell you that is extremely low. After completing so much content, you only get about 10 multis, and if you go over to echoes, the characters have a banner of pity of 80. Now this is only soft pity, technically it's a 50-50, and then after that you have to reach hard pity if you do not get the character. So that's an additional 80 summon, which is 160. So the fact that you had to do a lot of content and only be able to get 10 multis is absolutely atrocious. One thing I also want to say is that the calculations that I've done so far were just for one-time rewards. So this is all one-time rewards. They don't come back again. After you claim it, you can't get extra gigacash from there. So this is all one-time reward, and you can only get about 10 multis. Now, what I wanted to also include in this calculation video was to show you the amount of gigacash you can get monthly that is continuous, rechargeable, and is free to play. Now, one thing you will be surprised is in a month, so daily missions gives you about 50. So I've done the calculations, you get about 50 gigacash. So I assume we have 30 days in a month, 1,500 monthly from daily, including weekly, which surprisingly gives us a lot of gigacash. So for my calculation, we get about 1,210. And then for monthly logins as well, let me quickly go over to it. Where's monthly stuff? Events. There we go. Wait, where is it? Daily login, we get about 100 as well. Now in total, for my calculation, so 1,500 for dailies, for weekly missions 4,840, and in total we get about 6,440. Now I'm not gonna lie, that is actually quite decent. Another thing that I also failed to include in my calculation is the targets missions, because this is kind of hard to calculate how much we've done so far. So it's kind of hard to calculate how much we will get. So I couldn't really include this in my calculation. Maybe this could have bumped up the amount of gigacash we get for one-time rewards, but I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really expecting it to increase the overall gigacash we get to include like 2 multis. Doesn't really matter. Even 12 multis for one-time clear is still not enough in my opinion. So that is it for my total calculation. So what I've noticed is the monthly amount of gigacash we get is actually quite decent, which is about 4 multis a month. To get to 80 pulls or 80 multis for your technically pity, this takes about 2 months. So technically if you skip banners for 2 months, you can get enough to go to 80. Now we also don't know how much gigacash we're going to be getting from events as well, simply because we don't have any events currently in game. So I do think this will also bump up even more, so that is actually quite good. So the main issue isn't really the amount of gigacash we get monthly, is the fact that the gigacash we get for one-time clear is extremely low. Now don't forget, the devs also had to buff the gigacash that we got from story from 20 to 50. Now the one they changed was the ones you get from here completing the actual chapter, and not the ones you get from the story ones. So they could have increased this as well in my opinion. So I'm kind of shocked that we had to do a lot of things but only get enough to do about 10 multis. In my opinion, that is kind of low, and obviously like I said, did not really include the target task, because it's kind of hard to calculate this as well. So tell me down in the comment section if you think my calculations is wrong or you can improve on my calculations. Go ahead and do that yourself. I will leave a screenshot of my total calculation as well, so that you guys can see if there's any mistake that I've made. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, the next video is going to be me talking about why gigacash is a major problem in this game. It's been your boy ACGamer. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get to 50 likes in today's video. It's been your boy ACGamer, and I'm out.